beautiful vlog watchers. I'm so grateful to have you guys here today. You're pretty awesome people because you're my kind of people because I love to listen to people's stories and you're here to listen to my story. I prefer to listen to other people's story than listen to my own story. I feel like my story is not that interesting, and it's funny because I've told people I'm telling y'all stories that I'm taking little stories that I've told here and there and I'm putting them all together. But whenever I tell the stories to people, it's so much different than whenever I tell it to the camera and post it on YouTube. It's really an interesting phenomenon. But yeah, I started this series based off the idea of they overcome with their testimony. So for me, your testimony is your life story. And there's so much in my story, and I want to share it. And this isn't a real story. It's based off of a true story of my life, but it's not the actual real story. So nobody get all upset about lawsuits or anything. And the bad guys in my story are actually good guys too. They were just the bad guys in my story. I'm the bad guy in other people's story, and I guess that can be okay. Okay. Anyway, so where was I with my story? I was talking about, we were talking about how moving away from the deer camp. And yeah, I think that I really tried to wrap up the deer camp days. I feel like I did, but I also feel like I didn't. So maybe we'll do a short little recap. We really did think that we were going to live in that deer camp place. We thought that we were going to try to buy it. And the reason why we moved into my dad's place is because he was like, y'all can live there for free and save up your money and find a place that y'all can actually buy. And we realized, after living at the deer camp, I think we lived for about 5 years. We lived there. And I think we were beginning to realize that the landlord was never going to sell. I mean, he was clear with us that he wasn't ever going to sell, that it would always be a rent place, but we were hopeful. So, but it became clear, and we moved into the Spring Meadows place, and this place, oh my gosh, is just, it was falling apart. And my dad, bless his heart, he fixes things the best that he can at the time that he can, and my husband, when things would fall apart, he would go to fix it and encounter a crazy contraption that my dad had made to try to fix something, and he doesn't have my dad's brain, so he doesn't know what my dad was thinking, and it was just like, oh my gosh, that place, it really was, it was like, for me, it was the lowest of the low point. It was like living in hell. So whenever we moved into that place, like right before we moved into that place, like the whole entire time that we were at the deer camp, I was thinking that I was like a parental alienator, and I was trying to overcome being a parental alienator, and it just drove me crazy because the reality of it was that I would let him go see them. I wasn't going to go out of my way though to make sure that he's seen them, but if he came to get them, I would let him go, and then they would call and be like, Mommy, please come get us, and crying, and then my oldest daughter would always say that he touched her, and it would frustrate me, and I would get upset, and I was in counseling, and I started with CBT therapy, I moved into DBT therapy, I was on all kinds of meds, and my oldest daughter would always say that he touched her, and I got them into counseling because of that, and through the counselor and the counseling, and because we would have family meetings, and she would have meetings with us as parents and figure out what we can do to be the best parents to these girls, so I loved her. She was so awesome. She's just such a big part of our family, and we'll always love her. But right before we moved, it was about the time that she was letting us know that some of these things that are happening to them are because they're symptoms of molestation. And she was very careful because she understood that I thought that I was alienating them and stuff. And she did let us know that we don't have to know everything necessarily, but she is going to be reporting this to the police and stuff. And it was right before we moved. I quit letting, even if he would show up, even if Zach showed up, it was the first time I quit letting him go with the girls. And also, it was right before we moved that I realized that if I would go after child support and he had back child support on the plate, he can't go after custody. So that helped a lot, especially since me and Zach were never married. So that helped a whole lot with the way that the courts are. And so I had decided whenever we first had, shortly after we had first moved in there, Zach shows up and he, throwing a big fit, wanting to see the girls and everything. And my oldest daughter at this time, she was 11, and she had to grow up fast, honestly. And she wanted to confront him. And him and his mama were there, and I'm trying to tell them to go on. They don't want to talk to you, don't want to leave. And my oldest daughter was like, no, I want to confront them. And so I had my husband take the two other girls, and I don't know if it's the best decision that I made, but I let her confront him a little bit. I let her confront him, and nothing bad happened necessarily. She yelled at him and she got it out. She was like, you hurt me. You've always been, you made my mom be a liar, and just yelling at her. And just the reaction that him and his mom had was such a shock to me. I think it put me in a freeze mode. I was just like, because that's how I know. That's how I know what their perspective is. Was because she confronted him in front of us, and he said, you're right, I did do that, but it was for your own good. And I'm just like, because he had never admitted it before, ever. And in court, he denies it so hardcore, and he was like, yeah, but it was for your own good. And then his mom goes in to explain how it is for your own good, how she had touched him whenever he was young. It was so weird. And my daughter, she's my kid, and I don't know, I think that his mom and him never actually knew who I was. They never understood who I was, because it's so crazy, because I just have this girl fighter spirit within me, and I know that I don't show it that much, but I really have tried to put that into my daughters, to understand that you're a woman in this world, and you've got to have that strength and determination. And my girls, they got it, and I don't know if it's a genetic thing or not. My mama, she's got that girl power. My grandma's got that girl power. I got that girl power, and I know my kids do. And I don't know if people can't see that in me or something, or if Zach and his mama couldn't see it or what. But they were messing with the wrong girl with this, and it just, it's so frustrating. But I made sure to let everything happen the right way, I think, and that's why I'm telling my story. Anyway, I did not marry him. That's one of the right things. But, okay. So, yeah, they straight up admitted it. I wish that I had it on camera. That's why the only place that this will ever be aired is in my story. I'm not going to tell nobody else, because why would they believe me? It's hearsay. I wouldn't even bring this up in court. No way. Because it's hearsay. I didn't record it. It just happened, and it was there, and that was I was like, y'all do realize, you're not going to see the girls anymore. I hope that you realize that, It was crazy. It was crazy. But, yeah, that was the last time that he ever came to our house, that he ever did. But he would continue to text the girls and call the girls. Not all the time, but but periodically. Is that the right word? Where was I going? Periodically? I don't know what I was going to say. But yeah. So, now this is really interesting with my story because that was the kid stuff, that was the Zach stuff. I started moving into trying to heal them a whole lot too, because another thing that happened was when my oldest daughter hit puberty and she just had such intense cramps, it really scared me. I ended up taking her to the ER, and they were just like, this is PMS and stuff like that, and gave us ideas, Midol and stuff to take care of it. And so, yeah, and then that's another symptom of what he had done to them that was for their good. I don't know, but I am a spiritual person. I have studied every religion, including, even though I wouldn't necessarily say it's a religion necessarily, but atheism, because there's atheistic religions, there's atheistic Satanism. I've studied it. I can tell you the difference between atheistic Satanism, Luciferian Satanism, and theistic Satanism. I love religion, and I've studied them all. If there's a religion that I know that exists, I want to study it, but it doesn't mean that I want to be in that religion. And I've always had, that's why I'll say I'm spiritual, not religious, but I love religion. I'm not going to say religion's wrong, but it has a part to play, guys. Everything does. Everything that's here has a part to play. If it didn't, it wouldn't be here on the plane, So, anyway, I had gone from being I guess I was a Unitarian. I was just a hardcore Unitarian back in Colorado, and then I moved back and I became a hardcore Christian, and had my hardcore Christian days where, oh my gosh, you have to be there every Sunday night, every Wednesday, and every single church event in between. And you serve, you're in service, and I love service. I love doing service work. I love it. And I love that because back whenever I was in Colorado and I guess Unitarian, I hung out with a girl who was a witch in a coven, so I learned a lot about witchcraft, and back whenever I was in Colorado and I was Unitarian, I hated Christians. I had a hatred for Christians because before that I was raised Christian. I would say I was raised Christian, hillbilly Christian, which is a different kind of Christian, and hippie, so mystic, and I guess you could say. So, because the mystic hillbilly. Anyway, I had a rejection of Christianity in my early 20s back whenever I was in Colorado. It was like a hatred for Christianity. And then I got hardcore into Christianity. I didn't expect that, but it did. Whenever I moved back to Arkansas, it's just like it sucked me in. I was like into it. I was teaching Sunday school for a while, guys. And whenever, we'll get there. I was teaching Sunday school for a while, and it taught me. It taught me to love. It taught me the love of Christians, and they helped. They stood up and helped my family out in a time of need multiple times, and they would give us deer meat, which so helped my family eat because we were not rich by any means. We were struggling. And it really helped, and it showed me the love, and it helped dissolve that hatred that I had in my heart for Christians. And I kind of realized how the hippie community has an over-exaggerated evil view of Christians. And I'm so grateful for that time. I'm so grateful that I went from Christian, non Christian, hating Christians to Christian again and finding the love for the people again and for the religion again and for Jesus again. And it's like once I grabbed that love of Jesus, I never let go. Still to this day, I haven't let go. I don't care. I don't want to be a Christian anymore, and we'll get there in my story, but even though, and I fell away again. Once again, I fell away. I felt like they pushed me too fast, too far. I don't know if they actually did or not looking back, but that's what I was feeling. And I left church, and I ended up, whenever we were I had a falling away again, and I got into witchcraft this time. And I had my altars, and I was like really into witchcraft, into the Green Witch. And I had Green Witch, Hedge Witch books. And I was really into that. And I love learning. I love, love, love learning. And I love learning outside of academia. It's like the best for me. You can really deep dive and really get to know a lot of it. And honestly, I have professor friends that I'll email papers and be like, will you grade this? And sometimes they do. Sometimes they're like, I ain't got time. I'm like, I understand. But yeah, I just love learning. I don't have any credit for it, like they'll tell me it's sad you don't have any credit. I'm like, yeah, no, it is sad. It is, because I do wish that I could be admired for my knowledge, because I have a lot of it. So that's just my heart's desire and wish, and we'll see what happens. But I don't have any actual proof of my knowledge like other people do, because I quit university, and I'm so glad that I did, because I don't like the learning in there, but I love learning. So yeah, I ended up learning a lot about witchcraft, and this time I kept my love for Christianity. The hatred for Christianity was gone. Honestly, it was replaced. I replaced that hatred. I put something else there, and now that I'm looking, I think I know what I replaced it with again. But anyway, maybe we can get rid of that hatred and turn it all into love. That would be great. Anyway, I moved into witchcraft with a love for Jesus and a heart for Christians. And I was still teaching. Whenever we moved into the Spring Meadows, I was teaching my kids every Saturday morning. Every Saturday morning, I saw it as our Sabbath, and we would learn and learn from the Bible. I had little Bible school lessons that I would teach my kids on Saturday mornings while we were living there. And then we would play and watch cartoons. But I loved that part. And it wasn't very long moving to Spring Meadows, because I remember whenever we first moved there, and we weren't there very long, because we were just there to save up money, get a down payment, and get a place, buy a house with some land for our kids and our animals to play, and a home to just so we'll feel safe and secure in. Because the one we were in, we did not feel safe and secure in all. It flooded every time it rained, and goodness, when the wind would blow, it would take parts of our house with it. So, and it was just miserable. There were wasps living all in the roof, like everywhere. There were wasps, and all in the walls, and they would sting you at night. You get stung while you're sleeping in your bed. You kind of get used to wasp stings. The place was hell. There was rats everywhere, roaches everywhere. It was hell. It was hell. And we lived in it for a while and raised my kids in it. I was teaching Sunday school in it. And there came a point in time where, again, the casting out of demons, I felt like there must be demons within me. That's why we're living in this hellish environment. And I remember looking around, like one night We got overloaded with frogs. Frogs were just everywhere. And I was just like, this is like the biblical plagues. This is like the biblical plagues. Like, we're under the biblical plagues. And I was like, we've got to repent. And so I repented of my witchcraft. And I showed my daughters and I showed them that I was repenting. I burned everything, all the books, any book that I could find. I burned it. I burned some of my favorite jewelry. My favorite jewelry I threw into the burn pit. So much stuff. I got rid of it because it's like, we're under a curse, and I wanted to get out of from under the curse, you know. And yeah, another thing that happened while we were living there, my husband kind of started, because we got a new truck and he had his own truck, and he started this little side business where he would go to, you know, people's place if they had like a bunch of junk in their yard, and he would be like, do you need that removed? And they would be like, how much are you going to charge? And he's like, I'll just remove it, because he could take it and then take it to the junkyard and make money off of it, and he didn't want to make a lot, he just wanted to make extra money. And so people were like, yeah, you can take it. And he was doing that, and sometimes he would get things and he would just bring them home and paint them, and we would keep them. Like, there was these old chairs that were being thrown out, and he brought them home and he refurbished them, and we kept them. And apparently the lady, I don't know what we did to them. I really don't. I've wondered. I wanted to go ask her, like, what did I do to you that was so bad? Because my family was at rock bottom when you did this. We were on our way out of rock bottom, and I had 3 kids. You hurt my kids. Like, do you know that? Do you think it just hurt me and my husband? Because it hurt the kids too? Or do you not even care? Is it like, well, you should have thought about that before you're the parent that you are, I guess. Anyway, I told you guys how I got the deer camp place, right? One of my good friends, her husband's mom was the mistress to the guy that owns the land. So she, being his mistress, I went to her and asked her to ask him. And he said, yeah, let them move in for $600 a month rent, which back then was pretty good. And now that we're living on Spring Meadows, and my husband he's doing his little scrapping projects, you know. I mean, he to him, he's like, I'm helping out the neighborhood. I'm able to make a little bit of extra money for the family. It's really great. It keeps him busy. And she comes to our house and insists that these 2 chairs are hers. And you guys, my husband is not a thief. He's a lot of things. He's he's a giant asshole, but he's not a thief, okay? And he asks people for these things, and she was like, they're hers, and put a lawsuit on us saying that we stole her stuff. I guess somebody had stolen, but he took them to her. He was like, here you can have them. But no, she was not happy about that. She was not going to be happy about that. Plus, another guy that she works with, and he was living in her rent house, was the guy that I earned my Scarlet A with. I haven't talked to him since this happened. I made sure to earn my husband's trust back. And I repented. And I was forgiven. And I am forgiven. And he set my husband up. He told him that there was these people had a bunch of scrap metal at this one place, and my husband went and asked him. He asked the dude, and he was like, yeah, you can go get it. It's at the end of the fence. And he was out there putting it up, and he got surrounded by cop cars because they called and said that he was stealing the stuff out there. And the other woman had already called and said that my husband has been stealing stuff, scrap metals and stuff. And so my husband went to jail, caught in the act of stealing. And the guy said, yeah, you can take it, is now saying, I never said that. And it's crushing because, like, he's our only income. We're trying to save up money to be able to get a house. We're living in hell. And if he gets a felony charge, now we're looking at me for income, and I haven't had a job in years. Last job I was able to get was the vacation tour and travel, where I was scamming people, and it was scary. I thank God because we were able to get that guy to come around, and in court he did say I let him go, and it was all dropped. But it wasn't today, tomorrow, the next day. It wasn't that easy. It was rough times, guys. It was rough times. But yeah, that's my story for today. That's what I got for you guys. We overcame. So, thank you guys so much for watching. I think I went over time a little bit today. Sorry about that. Thank you so much for being here. You made it to the end. Wow, you're freaking awesome. Give yourself like a pat on the back and go give yourself an extra treat today because you earned it. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I love you so much, and God bless you always. That's all. Wait a minute. No, that's not all she got. She got a little bit to say just here at the end, so hold on, folks. I just want to say really, really quick, I've got an exciting opportunity to share with you. As a student and a content creator, I pour my heart and my soul into each and every video, and I absolutely love bringing you all along on my crazy adventures. But you know, creating quality content requires a lot of time, effort, and resources. But that's where you can come in. If you enjoy my videos and want to share your support, I've set up a few ways for you to contribute and become an even more integral part of the Mystic Hillbilly community. Your support means the world to me, and it helps me to continue doing what I love most. First of all, I have a few donation options available to you. If you'd like to make a one-time contribution, you can find the links to my Cashapp, Venmo, and PayPal in the video descriptions. And every single donation, no matter how big or small, truly makes a difference and allows me to create even more exciting content for you all. But wait, there's more. I'm thrilled to introduce to you my Patreon membership, where for only $5.55 a month, you can gain access to exclusive behind-the-scenes content and outtakes from all my videos. As a Patreon supporter, you'll get to see all the edits and behind-the-scenes bloopers that didn't make it in the final cut. It's like having a VIP pass to the Mystic Hillbilly editing room. This is really something special for all my haters out there. As a member, you'll gain access to hours of footage of me making mistakes, doing everything wrong, and just having an all-around hilarious time. So, haters, if you ever want to see me in my most human, this is your golden opportunity. So, whether you choose to become a member or make a donation, know that your support is deeply appreciated. I genuinely thank each and every one of you for being a part of this amazing journey with me. Your positive energy and contributions mean everything to me. Before I go, I just want to take a moment to say that I pray that every blessing sent my way is multiplied and returned to the sender tenfold. May success find their way into your lives as you've brought them into mine. Thank you all so much for your support, and until next time, stay adventurous, stay curious, and always remember to keep the mystic in you alive. And now, that's all she got.